some motorcycle headsets. I've had one on my helmet for the past 6 years. I started out with a Scala Rider G4, which was a very expensive and not particularly brilliant headset, but for the time it worked. Then I moved on to one of these cheap Chinese ones that you can get a pair of them for about £60. And I thought, well, why is there things like Sena are charging, more money than that when this company can do this? And I thought, for a while, maybe this is the solution, to have these cheaper ones. Well, after a lot of use of the little cheaper ones, it's very apparent that the battery life's very short on them. The range is very poor, the quality of sound's very poor, and the intercom function is, the voice sounds very, very modulated, very, very processed, and it's very difficult to hear, and it's not loud enough to hear above 40-50 mile an hour unless you've got a very, very quiet helmet, or it's, you've got some exceptional circumstances. Now, with everyone singing the praises of Sena so much, I thought, let's just contact Sena, get a couple of headsets, and see what I make of them compared to everything else. And as I say, I'm not going to go feature by feature in all the details of what they can do. Other people have done that, and their website, actually, it has to be said, is full of information. They're very good with all the information for each camera put there on their Sena's website. For me, the most important things are the audio quality and volume for listening to music, the intercom function, what's the range like and what's the audio like, and then also battery life. And battery life probably overrides both of those, but they all have to work. You can't have one without the other. Now, because I really wanted to test the intercom feature between the Senas, I got a couple of headsets from them. I got the 10S and the 10C. The 10S is your standard headset for listening to music, for listening to your GPS, intercom, phone, everything. The 10C is very much the same thing without the voice prompt, but it does have a camera built into it. Okay, I'm going to very quickly show you what comes in the box with the 10S and the 10C. We'll start with the 10C. In the 10C you get the 10C, and you get loads and loads of other bits to help you mount it. Instructions, charging cable, this is the microphone which has just got the flexible lead on it, Velcro attachments for the speakers inside your helmets, and some actual foam covers if needs be, a 12 volt car charger, these are the speakers themselves, the boom mic, that's the one I'm going to be using, some thicker Velcro pads for the speakers, this is the clamp mount for attaching to the side of the helmet. If you've got space in between the shell and the liner of your helmet, you can get the clamp mount in there and it just clamps on. And the self-adhesive mount. In the 10S you get basically the same stuff. The 10S itself, which is quite a bit smaller, let's compare them side to side. But obviously you don't have the functionality of the camera in this than you do with this, that's why it's a bit bigger. But there's not a lot in it. This is the mount for it. As you can see, this clips on here, goes like that. And this is the clamp version. There is a backing plate to change this into the self-adhesive, I'll show you inside. Then you've got boom mic again, the speakers, charging cable, 12 volt charging cable, instructions. Oh, this is all in one bag. So there's the self-adhesive mount. Basically that just replaces this part here. Small cabled microphone. You've got some self-adhesive mounts and a dead cap for the microphone. Again, the thick Velcro mounts for the speakers. More Velcro mounts and more speaker covers and bits and pieces. A 3.5 jack to jack. So basically both kits, depending whether you get the 10S or the 10C, come with every single little bit you're going to need to mount it into your helmets, and it looks like there's extra bits as well in case you switch helmets, but I know the extra Velcro attachments and stuff you can purchase separately anyway. The headset I decided to mount on my helmet was the 10C, the other one was put on a friend's helmet, and we've been testing the intercom feature for, I've had these headsets for like nearly 3 months I think it is, or maybe it's about 2 to 3 months, because I really wanted to try them. I wanted to get them through lots of battery cycles, see what the batteries are like, see what the features are like, try it in lots of different conditions, and I now feel like I've got to a point that I can give you the highlights and give you my feedback. I'm going to make some comparisons between the cheap eBay type headsets you can buy for about £60 for a pair, compared with the Sena. Now the Sena, for instance, this one, the 10C with the camera, is around £260 roughly. The 10S is around 160, but obviously it has no camera. I actually think that's an okay price point, because if you were to buy a 10S at 160 and you were then to buy a camera separately for £100, the quality is, it's not as good as a standalone camera, but it would do. I'll show you some of it now. As you can see, even though it is HD and it is 60 FPS, it just doesn't seem to have the quality that you would expect out of a 720p camera. If you were just using the camera for insurance purposes, then yes, I do think that it is an adequate standard. It will look better in better lighting conditions. Today is not the best lighting conditions. I'll just show you some of that now. So yeah, in sunshine it does look a little bit better, but still, it's not something you can use on YouTube as a vlogger, but as an insurance camera, yes, it could do that. My only concern with that is that you're really limiting the battery life of the headset using the camera on it, and if you had a standalone camera, you know, you could probably get more battery life out of that. So I do think, even for the price point in the brake and everything, it probably will be better to get one of the, like the 10S headsets and a separate camera to get better results for about the same money, and equally better battery life, because you've got two batteries to work off of, not just the one. There is a couple of cool features though. It obviously records what I'm saying using the built-in microphone, which is the same microphone that's used for, you know, voice prompts or phone calls or whatever. But it also means that when you're recording, if you're talking to someone else in the group, you know, an Intercom group, it records their voice too. So you, I know, husband and wife on a touring trip, one of you's got a camera, the other one's just got a normal headset, you know, one's got 10S, one's got 10C, both your voices will be recorded onto the audio of the camera. It's an awesome idea. Also, sharing music. If I listen to music on mine, that will be transmitted to the other person listening, and even if you wish it to be, recorded onto the video as well. I can do that now. If you look, I just turn my music on. So it's got some really cool features, but the quality just lets it down. It probably was never built to compete with a standalone camera, but the problem is today quality is everything, and it's just so far behind. But as I say, for insurance purposes, to record an incident, you know, an accident or something, perfectly adequate, perfectly usable. So I do not think that the 10C is the ultimate vlogging camera. I mean, it would be kind of cool, you know, headset, all the audio stuff built in with a camera built in, etc, etc. That would be great, but it doesn't work that well. But for insurance purposes, for always having a camera on your helmet no matter what, the quality's good enough. You know, if something's happening that I just want to get that camera on and record what happened, it's got tagging mode, so you know, you can just press it after an accident and it will record the accident. It's got a use, but for vlogging itself, it's not going to compete against cameras which, you know, in themselves cost more than the entire headset does. So it's fair enough to say that, and for that reason the camera is okay on it. I haven't got exact figures, but it's just from doing this lots of times. Charging takes, you know, a morning, maybe a bit less than the morning, and it'll be fully charged. It'll then have enough power for, I'm going to guesstimate, 8 or 9 hours, using it as a headset, you know, for intercom. If you're using the camera, yeah, you're going to significantly reduce that. But as just an intercom, you can charge it on Friday and use it all weekend and have a couple of long days. You know, be listening to music, be using the intercom, and yeah, it does great. So the battery life, definitely good enough, definite tick for me on that one. So then, sound quality, the speakers. The speakers are a little bit slimmer than the ones on the Chinese headsets I had, and the quality, unsurprisingly, is massively better. But I will add, it's the best audio I've had from a headset, better than the Scala, better than all of them. The only thing that these headsets, you just don't get quite as much bass. But for listening to music, really good, really good. Definitely that ticked, no question. Then the intercom feature, as I say, on the cheap eBay ones, what you hear is very quiet. It's very sort of processed sounding. It's not pleasant to necessarily listen to. The Senas sound like you're on a phone call. They're that good. It's just good. It's good. I don't need to sort of go on about it. The quality of the intercom is brilliant. It's clear. There's no wind noise. It cuts in and out at the right times. Yes, it can get triggered by my exhaust if my friend is riding behind me, but then I have a very loud bike, but then I just get to hear my own bike, which is kind of funny. It's not too harsh. It's not too loud. It's just Sena, you got it spot on. The range on all of the headsets, and many things I've found, is completely unrelated to what it'll do real world. I believe that the 10C is something like a kilometre range or something like that, but in reality I found that it would start to degrade after about 400 metres ish, maybe. It's hard to guesstimate, but it's good enough. You see the cheap eBay ones, they would lose connection between one roundabout and another roundabout. You know, if you got too close together, and that's a real problem, because it means that if you're with someone who's got stuck behind you, you have to say, okay, take this exit, take that exit. You've already lost them, so you've now lost communication as well. The Senas, however, have probably 2 or 3 times the range of what the eBay ones do, and it's enough. It's enough to have a gap in traffic. It's enough to get separated at roundabouts. Even through a couple of roundabouts, you're still in communications. You don't lose communication. It's brilliant. If you're on a straight line, you know, down a road, and there is no obstacles in the way, the range is vastly improved. If, however, you know, you get a building between you because you're on a corner, or you get a lot of trees between you, or a big truck or something, it does significantly reduce the range, but it's still good enough. So of all the headsets that I've used, Sena, spot on. I totally understand what everyone's been going on about. Usability, it takes a little bit of learning to understand that, you know, you press this and this one to turn it on. You have to press and hold it, the silver button, for a couple of seconds to get to connect to your phone so you can listen to music, whereas then you hold it for slightly longer if you want a group intercom, and you only press it if you want intercom. You know, to skip a track you have to press the middle button like this and twist, which you think, oh, how am I going to do that one-handed? We actually just press the middle button and just the whole thing basically. I do it and then click forward like that, and you can skip through songs no problem. You don't press the button and you turn that and you get volume control. It's got FM radio, you know, it's for your phone as well. To me, it really adds to motorcycling, because I love to listen to music while I'm riding bikes. I just do. I don't have the phone feature switched on. I don't want anyone calling me while I'm riding, but it is nice to be able to, you know, make a call if you've got your helmet on and you don't want to take it off. So the Sena has function buttons, but when it comes to changing settings, and there is a lot of settings because they do a lot of very clever things, depending on which model you go for, you use their app. Which, and I say, you have to have the app. If you've got a 10C, for instance, with a camera, you have to have the app, because you need to be able to adjust what quality you want and things like that. Because I'm a vlogger, people are going to say to me, you know, is it a good camera for motovlogging? I'm afraid, no. The function and the form and everything is a great idea, but unfortunately the quality just isn't there, and in a quality-driven market, it's already so far behind that, no, it's not a good idea to be used as a vlogging camera, though it physically could be. So if you don't mind the loss of quality, that's fine. But as an insurance camera, it's fine. There are other issues of using it for a vlogging camera, such as, you know, it's got an inbuilt battery, and the battery life with the camera on is maybe only 3 or 4 hours, which is great, but it really degrades on the point of the battery life of the headset itself, which is great to see something that's like, you know, 8, 9, maybe more hours that you can use all weekend. So are they worth the money? About 160 for the 10S. Yes, I believe that the advantages of the better battery life, the better sound, the better usability, if you're actually going to use it regularly, it's something you're always going to have, yes, it's worth £160. If it's just something, you know what, you want an intercom just because you're going on a trip or something, you're not going to use it very regularly, the little Chinese eBay ones, they will do But if you're doing like a world trip, it will be so much more pleasurable. Say you and your wife or you and your girlfriend are going on a trip together, you wanted to communicate, get the Sena. It's a bit of an outlay, I know, but it will be worth it. So the 10C is about £100 more. As I say, very much the same headset, but it's got that camera built in. The equivalent, if you could put one that's about £100 on a camera, I think you probably could get better quality. So having the headset and a separate camera, to me, that it would be both better money-wise, and it would also be better quality-wise and usability-wise. The only disadvantage is you don't have the convenience of it all being in one little tiny box. So there we go. I hope I've answered most of the questions you might have. If you're looking for technical specifications and details, go onto Sena's website and have a look. They've got a breakdown of each camera there. If it's something that you can't find there, just drop a comment. I'm sure I or another Sena user will be able to answer that. There you go. That's 2 or 3 months of me comparing and contrasting between the different brands and seeing what their Scala is really like, and it's condensed down into that. And as I say, it ticks those 3 boxes: range, battery life and sound quality. Ticks them brilliantly. Value for money is great. Build quality is really nice. I can't argue that they are probably the best headsets on the market. Definitely without question the best headsets I've ever used, and are everything that I would need a headset to be, and I think they're a reasonable price for a good product. Links to Sena's website in the description. As I say, check out the new models they've got coming out. You might even go for a 10S or a 10C, depends on what you want, and go for a slightly older one to get a slightly better deal if they're a bit cheaper maybe. I will make it clear that Sena did send me these headsets for free when I requested them for the review. However, they have not paid me to say anything. They have not suggested that I say anything. They literally just said, here are the headsets, go and take as much time as you need and make the review and let people know what you think of them, and that's what I'm doing in this video. You want to go up here? Oh, yeah. Jesus. Oh, it's a motorhome sideways. Yeah. Can you hear that?